My name is Carson. Welcome to Thrifty Garage, a channel where we do everyday repairs, how-tos, and reviews. And in today's video, we're going to do a review on this Bobcat E35 excavator. Here on this rainy day, we've got this Bobcat E35 excavator. I picked this up this spring for the landscape business, and we've done several projects with it. Several of those we've actually videoed, so you'll have to check those out as well. Some rock walls. We're getting ready to do a drainage project, so lots going on with this one. Obviously, we're in the middle of a project right now. Here we are grading out this parking area and grading away from the garage there so we don't have any water issues. But let's hop into the machine and show you what we got going on here. This thing still smells new when you open up the door, despite being a little bit dirty and dusty. But I believe it's got about 60 hours on it. So yeah, here we got 76.7 hours on it. We picked it up with about 3 or 4 hours on it. And did the 50-hour service a few hours ago, and we'll do a separate video on that as well. Let's turn off this fan. It's got AC, it's got a radio, and obviously a cab, which was really important. A big reason I went with new instead of used. And it has the electronic key there, so you just type in your code and it starts it right up. Pretty basic inside. Another big thing that I wanted with this, I reached out to several different brands, and the big thing I wanted was the quick connect. So over here we have Bobcat's exchange system, their hydraulic exchange. I'm not a huge fan of their system in particular, but I knew I wanted a quick attach for the bucket system. So let's go ahead and show you what we got there. So here we have their hydraulic exchange. And what that has is it's got 2 pins here in the bucket that pop out sideways and hold that bucket in place, and then it's got a J-shaped bucket here. You hook it on these little clasps up front, and then you insert that J down, and that J holds onto the bucket. We'll have to do a separate video on that showing how that exactly operates, but these buckets are pretty quick to attach and detach. Also came with a thumb, another huge thing needed. So with the thumb, we also have, we have this hydraulic line for the thumb, and on the other side, we've got an auxiliary hydraulic. So we have a power tilt and this hydraulic thumb, and those can be used in tandem. You don't have to disconnect and connect hoses, so that's a really nice feature as well. Other big things that were selling points or had to have. So here is the power tilt. This is about a $5,000 attachment. We are just demoing this right now. Trying to decide if we're going to keep that for good. Ordered a 4-foot grading bucket with this, and that is not in yet, so we're still waiting on that. But I think that's going to go really well in combination with the grading bucket. And then we also got a 12-inch digging bucket, which we have definitely put to the test. We've already got some teeth wear on this one, and the biggest project we used that one on was the 1,800 feet of trenching for Craig over at Naked Acres. So if you haven't seen that video, check out his channel and the video we did on that project as well. We've got the T650 skid steer as well, but we're not doing anything on that today. But yeah, got this all up and running. Have serviced this a few times. Did have some issues with this backfill blade hose. A little bit of a low clearance down there. I guess while we're doing this, we'll kind of do a quick review. But there's the hose where it goes in the X frame there is a little bit low, and that ended up hitting a rock working on a job, the rock retaining wall job or stone boulder job, and hit that and pushed it up and caused it to start leaking. Had to replace the hose, so I've got a separate video on that, or repair as well. Did the 50-hour service, and fuel filter was a bugger, to say the least. So did the 50-hour service at 65.6 hours, so a little bit delayed, but that's taken care of. And with that, we did an oil change as well. Oil filter is down there, and that's the fuel filter, and then the oil fill plug is right there next to the oil dipstick, and and then there's a drain plug on the bottom. The drain plug dumps out kind of in a, well, I guess it probably, if we turned the machine, it would have been better. So when we drained it, we should have turned the machine like it is now. We can see we're not perfectly straight. Should have turned the machine like this. Ended up driving this up on some railroad timbers, and that worked great for the service. But as far as access, haven't been super disappointed. The oil filter was kind of tucked back in there. The fuel filter was, like I said, really difficult to get off. It was a bugger. It was on super tight. But hopefully this next go around it's not as tight, not as hard to remove. Hydraulic. So because of this hydraulic leak on the backflow blade, we did have some hydraulic leaks and a loss of fluid. But really easy to check right here. We've got our gauge there. We can see our temperature line. We can see our fill line right there, and we got our hydraulic reservoir right there. We fill up, so that was super easy to take care of. Got our windshield washer fluid, which is still basically full. Haven't really used that much. E35. Why did I go with an E35? This seems to be the size that we were renting a lot. We have rented some smaller. We've actually rented a mini excavator, the tiny ones that you can go inside houses, and you know, it weighs only a couple thousand pounds. Rented one of those once. Rented, I think, a 42 once. But this is basically the max size that works on a truck and trailer with a non-CDL. You go much bigger than this. I think you can get the 42 as well, but you go the 50 and you're going to need a CDL to basically haul that. So went with the E35. It's a good size for us. It's about the maximum we can load and haul, and it also has some pretty good capacity and capabilities. If you saw our stone boulder retaining wall, this thing is just picking up some massive boulders. Definitely putting a strain on it, but it worked it hard and it got the job done. And that's what we need it for. It needs to fit in tight spaces. That was the other reason not going with the 42. Was that the 42 is I want to say 8 or 10 inches wider, and it's longer, and so there's a bunch of things with the 42 that it kind of makes it less capable and less fitting in spaces. This is I believe a class 3 bucket, so it is a smaller size bucket, but it is rated for this machine. You could do a class 4 bucket on this, I believe, and those are just quite a bit heavier. I've been pretty happy with this 24-inch bucket. I really debated back and forth on what sizes to get. You know, do I get an 18, do I get a 12, do I get a 24, 36? You know, what do I go with? I think 36 is kind of the maximum recommended on these. And 24 was perfect, and then we're getting the 48-inch grading bucket. So I think that'll be a good combination and a good variety. The 12-inch bucket has been perfect for our needs, and no complaints there as well. With the thumb system, the thumb kind of sits on the outside of this 12-inch bucket, and you can see there, I don't think you can really go a narrow bucket with the Bobcat exchange system. You can see those little tabs, those ear tabs are just right the perfect width for that 12-inch bucket. So I think that's a good size for the small bucket, and then you know, going up from there. So yeah, overall summary, looking for equipment, machines. Our criteria was in this 3.5 to 4 ton range. We were looking for a thumb. We were looking for a quick coupler, like the hydraulic exchange. We wanted an enclosed cab with heat and AC. We wanted a radio, and I think that's pretty much it. So that was kind of the criteria. And as far as price goes, I think these run right around $50,000. I'm not exactly sure on the details on this one. You know, payment wise, for a Bobcat has a 0% 60-month payment terms, and it's just shy of $1,000 per month as far as the payments go on this machine. For anybody curious or interested in you know, purchasing one or knowing what the costs are, that's basically where you're at. They did have some discounts, like a first-time purchaser credit was like $2,000, and there was also a deal special back in March or February when we bought this. I think it was another $2,000 or $4,000 off. So I think the MSRP on this is 52 or 58 or 54, somewhere in the mid to low 50s, and then picked us up for high 40s or low 50s. Let's talk about tie downs real quick. This has a variety of tie downs. We've got 2 on this backfill blade here. We've got 2 on the side here. and 2 on the other side. Kind of packed with mud right now. And then we also have a nice tie down spot right underneath here. So excellent tie down options on this Bobcat E35. Pretty happy with that. No complaints there as far as the ability to haul this around on an equipment trailer and get it strapped down correctly. Lots of a variety of options for a variety of situations. Well, I think that'll be a wrap on this excavator review. Got more videos of this coming. We'll be talking about the power tilt in a future video. We'll be talking about the hydraulic exchange, talking about the different buckets and grading buckets, and just all sorts of content coming out on this, as well as obviously all the projects we do with it. So be sure and subscribe and check those out, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching Thrifty Garage.